Hi, my name is Kristi Leigh, and I'm a DJ for WJTL Radio, talking today with Aodhan King of Hillsong Young and Free. Hey, Aodhan.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm in the future from you. I'm in Australia, so.
I was just going to ask. So you're where, whenever people say it's that time somewhere, that's where you are right now.
I'm that somewhere there where.
Okay, so how's the future looking? I mean, we're dying to know because we know what the present is right now, and we're hoping for the future to be better, I think.
It's pretty good here. It's 11:30 at night
Wow.
on Monday. So we're a little bit in front of you, not too much, but it's pretty good.
That's the way to do a Monday. So here in the States where I am, it's 9:30 in the morning. I'm at the beginning of the day. You're at the tail end of the day.
I know, and it was a great day. So you've got a lot to look forward
to. That's actually really helpful. Aodhan says it's a good Monday. It's going to be all right, right? That would be I feel like that would be a great line of like motivational encouragement for people. If you could just text that to a bunch of people all the time. Like, hey, today went great. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, just text in Australian and you'll know.
Yeah. So Hillsong Young and Free just released a little bit ago this summer, the All of My Best Friends album. And this is what I want to talk about because there's some really interesting things with this project, how it was written, how it was recorded, and the timing that we're listening to it in. All three of those things are kind of amazing. Aodhan, I think we should start at the beginning. And I loved watching the making of. So if you haven't seen the making of yet, it's on social media, a couple of episodes, and it really takes you behind the music and the heart and the amazing process. So you guys started with nothing.
Yep.
And came up with the whole album. Was it like 2 weeks that you came up with the whole album?
Well, we had about probably 4 weeks. I mean, that's like the focus time. I mean, it took longer than that, but yeah, I think it took us a long time to gather, the general direction. Then I feel like when we felt like we heard God, and we heard kind of, I guess, what the vision was going to be, it was a lot easier. But it was a long time. Although, the whole making was probably 4 weeks, 6 weeks.
4 weeks is not a long time.
No, I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah, I know how it is. So the cool thing is though that this was super collaborative, a lot of writing together, kind of like community. It almost reminds me of college dorm style or like vacation style, going to the beach house and whatever, writing songs so very together, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for us, we're a part of a youth ministry, and there's a bunch of people from kind of all over the world, but even just within our own youth group in Sydney, Australia, there's so many talented, amazing writers and singers, and we'd done 3 albums before this, an EP, and then when it came to this record, we really felt that we wanted to do something that felt as collaborative as possible, and so and something that we could sing together. And so I guess we'll get to that, but it is crazy that, obviously this whole year has not looked like being together in physical settings, but that's, it was, I think part of it, it's funny. I think God uses that stuff for sure. And it's really funny to think about now that we were like, let's do the most collaborative, most together, loudest, biggest album ever. And, we can't even sing it that way, but that's, I guess God's.
So writing prophetically for a generation, not knowing that within, before a year's time, even that generation would be going through something unprecedented and so challenging in ways that even former generations are struggling to know how to deal with it. So writing these songs, I mean, it's just kind of amazing to start with nothing and then to realize if you look at the track listing now on this project, it includes, I feel like, every kind of song that you would need to sing in this season. It's amazing that you were able to accomplish that. And to me, it tells me you were really connected to God in the process. To be able to do that, only He would know what's coming.
Totally. And I think that's what's crazy about it. And, I guess that's only God, because none of us could have planned. None of us knew. When we recorded the record, that was in January of this year. and we were in Australia, and we recorded it at our summer camps. And there was huge bushfires. It was all over the news across the world. I'm sure everyone knows, in Australia, these massive bushfires. So every day for probably 3 months, you could hardly go outside. It was just, the air was filled with smoke. It's pretty traumatic. And so even that was something that we had not really dealt with ever before. And so we were making this album that we wanted to sing at our summer camps, and then our summer camps are getting canceled. We're having to move them. And so, yeah, I think it's crazy because the songs that we wrote, like you said, I feel like, if anything, make more sense now that we're not together than they even do to be singing them together. So yeah, we can't, it's not us. I think that 100% is all credit to God.
Yeah, has to be. But way to go
Yeah.
to be a usable instrument in that process. We need people that are plugged in prophetically to be able to pull these things out for when we're going to need them down the road. World Outside Your Windows is just kind of funny to listen to a song like that when so many people are stuck inside, thinking about the world outside their windows. So that's one of the cool songs on the project. I just love looking at the track listing, because knowing that Hillsong Young and Free is all about, the youth group, that kind of next generation, to have tracks like Never Have I Ever and Best Friends. What a fun, not 100% all fun songs, but the fun songs are like maximum fun, right? Do you have a favorite fun song right now on the project?
I mean, it changes every day. I think,
Yeah.
To be honest, I think one of the ones that, obviously, I think the record's called All of My Best Friends, but Best Friends definitely is a song that I think, for all of us, sums up the record. I think a lot of us have gotten closer than we've ever been before. And even, for our youth group, all of us, we're all gathering online. And so we're still running our youth group every Friday, but I feel like it's actually allowed, all of us. And in Australia, we're out of lockdown now. We can meet up. We can't do church yet all together, but we're able to meet. And I think, I feel like that song sums up, I guess, a lot of us are having deeper conversations than we've ever had before. The importance of, like, even relationships is something that I think all of us are really, really, I think, diving into. And so that song, I think, sums it up. It's so much fun. And I hope that it describes, the youth and this generation, and what we hope is going to come from all of this, for sure.
That song already connecting with people of all ages. I know Josh Baldwin's releasing a version of it with Molly Skaggs this coming Friday, which he feels like he's in the upper generation. He felt like he was a little too old for it. Have you heard it yet? His new version?
Yeah, incredible. He's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So cool.
So cool.
That's a lot of fun. Now, I also, the slow songs that you can sing your heart out to, that people are really connecting with. Let's talk a little bit about Uncomplicated, because this song has a story behind it.
Yeah, this song is such a special song. One of the guys who's the writer on it, his name's Josh Grimmett, and he is from London. He's been a part of kind of Young and Free stuff from afar, but never really written or been part of the project. And his dream's always kind of to be a part of what we're doing with Young and Free at Hillsong. And to this record, we were able to bring him to Australia. So it's one of the first times he's kind of come to Australia, and he came to write. And he's done some amazing things in the secular world. He's written some crazy songs, but he came in, and the morning he lands, he probably at 5 a.m. I think he goes to the studio at 7 with a few of the other guys, Jack and Brendan, and they write this song. And I think I remember coming into the studio. It was the first day of the entire, process of writing for the record. And I remember being really stressed and kind of a little bit like, oh man, like, God, I hope that you can help us do this, because we don't know what we're doing. We don't have long. And when you're doing a live record, you've got a deadline. And so you've only got a certain amount of time. And I remember coming in that morning at probably 10 or 11 and hearing what they had done at 7 a.m. in the morning and being like, oh, thank God. Like, the song is about how uncomplicated the love of God is, but it totally brought a sense of ease to the whole project. And it reminded, I think, all of us that we don't need to overcomplicate this process. And that song totally has been, even for all of us in this time, something that's kind of been like, hey, just rest in the rhythms of grace, and things are easier than we sometimes make them out to be. So
I love that you
Yeah.
reference the Rhythms of Grace thing. That's a nice throwback to
Yes.
another song and
Yeah.
another, Bible verse in the message. But was Josh surprised that he wrote such a chill kind of a song when a lot of his stuff is is really energetic?
Yeah. I think, he's always like, I mean, we've talked over the years for so long, and he's written a lot of other songs, like things that haven't made records or whatever. But I think
Mhm.
he's got a real, heart for God and a heart to worship. And so, yeah, I think it's funny when you kind of compare that song to the songs that he does with, Good Boys, the band that he's in. But, if you know Josh, it's totally just his heart.
Yeah, awesome. So that one, along with another one on the project, As I Am, that I know
Yeah.
a lot of people have really been connecting with. So can you tell us about that song too?
Yeah. That song we wrote that song initially for our third record. And so we had pretty much that song was one of the first songs we had for three. And then I think we kind of, when we started writing more, that kind of sat to the side. We always never felt that we had it right. And I know that when Mel and I were writing it, we had like, I guess, a really specific direction that we wanted to go in it and go with it. And we couldn't nail it. And, it also kind of felt like it wasn't the right timing
Yeah.
at the time. We didn't know, it just didn't feel right. And so I think when it came to this project, we always knew, okay, we want to spend time on it. And that song's been a blessing. I think it's funny, the world, we're going through a lot of things right now, and there's so many conversations around, racial injustice. And I guess just people are really aware of it. And when we put that song into our youth ministry back in probably December last year, it was something that really resonated with everybody. And I think one of the craziest things about that song was, I remember when we were writing it, Mel and I were sitting down, and I think that at the time there was the Charlottesville shooting, where a young guy went into a black church and shot up everybody. And I remember being like, all of us just were destroyed by that. And obviously, that's absolutely traumatic. But what it really kind of showed me was that, people who come into our church, into our youth ministry, perhaps feel like, because of something like that, maybe they're not welcome at our church, or perhaps like maybe the way that they're treated in the world is the way that we treated by God, and it's just not true. And that kind of broke my heart. And so we're like, let's write a song about that. And yeah, it's been really amazing for our youth ministry, the conversations that it started, the even, I guess, the healing that's come from it. And so my prayer, and I know Mel's prayer and all of our prayer, is that it would encourage us as Christians to actually be the hands and feet of Jesus, and to be the place that is like, there's an open seat at the table for everybody. It doesn't matter what you look like, or where you've come from, what the color of your skin is. And yeah, it's simple, but it saddens me that it's not that simple for some people. And so I just
Right.
pray that, again, remind us. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's simple and it's not that simple. And um, and I didn't plan on talking about this, but I love that you brought it up. For youth leaders who are thinking about, okay, we need to have some of these conversations right now. You talk about the racial issues. I mean, there's so many heavy, deep, kind of complicated things to try to talk about with a youth group. What works or what doesn't work when you're trying to start up these conversations in a healthy way? Do you have any any tips or experience on this that would be helpful to people who are trying to start to navigate those things?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, for us at our church and our youth ministry, has been like learning to listen and to not talk as much. I think that's been one of the most humbling things, is going, okay, like, let's actually listen, because there are people that are hurting, and I don't know. I I don't know. I don't have all the answers, and the best thing that I can do is listen, understand why people are hurting, what's going on, and not try to like solve it myself, but actually be okay with learning how to be the change. Um, and I think for us as Christians, it starts with the Word of God. I think it's so clear. It is so clear. Like all these conversations, it's crazy to me that they become, like you said, that they can become so complicated. And really, it actually is just simple. We're called to love. We're called to accept, not to judge. Everybody's welcome. It doesn't say anything in the scriptures about not being welcome. And so I think it's just reminding each other of that. And I think we as Christians need to be the change. And so, yeah, I think it's I think it's going to take time, but I think the healing comes from listening and understanding.
That's awesome. So
Mm,
there's a parallel in hearing you talk about this, you know, that there's a difference between your third record and your fourth record. And
mm,
some of it I think has to do with simplicity. It's amazing how right on you guys are with getting to some very simple, boiled down things in this new project. You want to talk
mm.
a little bit about the difference, you know, how three kind of set up for this fourth one?
Yeah. Well, three for us was actually like, probably one of the most, I don't know, incredible experiences for me. And especially as a creative guy, I think, and all of us, it really felt like our passion kind of record.
Yeah.
It felt like we got to say the things that we want to say, perhaps speak upon our journey, like speak about our journey with God, speak about how life had changed for all of us. And it felt very personal. I think this record, I think for all of us, we've been traveling a lot, and we have come to really understand, I guess, the importance of being at home, importance of being in a community, and the importance of church, and just, I guess, how like formative it's been for all of us. And so we were like, well, let's listen to, I guess, what's happening in our youth ministry. And so that's why songs like As I Am come out, because we took time to hear, okay, what are the things that our young people are dealing with? What are some of the things? We know that loneliness and isolation is a huge issue for young people, and especially in our youth ministry. And so a song like Best Friends comes out of that, because you go, what is the biblical response to an issue like that? Okay, let's write about togetherness. And then, I think this record really felt like these are not my songs. And even when we were writing them, it didn't feel like, I wasn't precious about the lyrics for myself, because this was something that we're singing on behalf of a generation, as opposed to, this is my experience with God. We're going, no, this is this generation's. And so it was way more fun, because it felt like we're all doing this together. And I know we keep saying that, but that's kind of what helped make this record what it is. And then that made it simple, because it wasn't, let's write things that everyone can say. This is not going to be just for me.
Another theme on the project is revival. And Lord Send Revival has been really, that's one that a lot of people have been connecting with. There's a lot of spins on that song. New Thing is another one that is also in a similar vein. What a cool season to launch a song like Lord Send Revival. Did you have any feelings of reverberations or something in the wind, something coming to release a song like that right now?
I didn't, but obviously God did.
Right.
So yeah, that song we actually wrote for the bushfires. And so that whole piece, like a river, was like, that's like, there's an extended version that, like, on the night we sung that song for 30 minutes, and there was a whole moment where we prayed for the fires, we prayed that God would send rain. And so that song was completely written for that. And so, but then when COVID hit, it was never part of the plan to put that song out as a single or to put it out before the record, but it kind of felt like the right thing. And yeah, like you said, I think God breathed on it and God's used it. And it's been cool to see people connecting with it. And, our prayer was always that there would be revival. And so, yeah, but I guess God had other plans for the song. So
Yeah.
it's why, even New Thing, it's funny with New Thing. I think that song at the beginning of COVID, I remember we were laughing about it all together, because we're like, come to a new thing. And then COVID happens, and it's like, gee. And we're like, what are we going to do with that song? Because it just feels so wrong to say that now. But now it's crazy. Like, what does it say? One of the second verse, which is wild, and it gives me goosebumps when I say it, but it's like, I see a wave of revival preceded by justice and praise. And like, what we're seeing right now is this wave of like justice being like served, I guess, to the things that are going wrong. We're becoming aware of all these things. So preceded by justice and praise. I see a wave of revival preceded by justice and praise, where young and old come to Jesus. And it's just like, I don't know, that kind of gives me this sense of like expectation for like, is what's happening right now preparing us for something that God wants to do. And I like choose to believe so. So it's
Well,
pretty
you start
special.
to see it. We've got, I mean, here in the States, rumbles definitely of justice is huge right now. People are concerned with justice. Praise is something that people are protecting the right to be able to do, to have the freedom to even praise. I mean, a year ago, I never would have thought that we would be even talking about this right now, that some of our freedoms and rights would be kind of threatened in some ways. So
Yeah.
that you're right, that verse of that song is what's happening. It's kind of
Oh,
crazy, but it's encouraging because, hey, we're hoping that we're on the heels of revival.
yeah, I believe so. And I feel that's part of it, right? Is to just believe for it, to ask for it. And so, yeah, it's really exciting. Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Only
But hey,
God.
you guys have written songs that have been so perfect for right now. So and for a generation and for a group, you know, the young people who really need it, and in such a way that it's so simple for them to relate to and to connect with these songs, and so fun at the same time. So
Yeah.
all of my best friends is out now. It's also out in Espanol, so you can get, you know, those tracks are also out. You got to watch the making of, really bringing you into the process of these songs. And also some of the other fun videos that Aodhan has shared with, you know, wigs and hats. And I think quarantine has done a number on you, my friend.
Oh, goodness. You don't even know.
Oh, it's so cool. Aodhan, thanks for joining me. I want to make sure that we wrap up the interview before it's Tuesday, because like you're 7 minutes away from Tuesday, where you are right now.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much. I was so good.
Thanks, Aodhan.